have anybody that's going to compete. It's not our fault. But if you want to talk about fishing, Darren and Jason can get fished all day long. They'll even get spotted 7 inches by Shane.
Whoa!
I hope nobody joined. I hope nobody joined halfway through that statement.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose that probably didn't work out great if that was the case, did it? And Victor's over here like, what the heck did I get myself into?
No idea what's going on.
This is normal, Victor. This is normal for us, Victor.
Talking about fishing.
Stuff, yeah. Victor Zielinski, ladies and gentlemen, 2 in a row. 2 in a row. Next Euro Tour going for the 3-peat. Yeah, not many people done that in their time.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
I've heard that being floated around. So who are the other players that have won back-to-back? Anybody know?
The previous 2 were won by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz before Victor won these 2.
Ruiz. Yeah, I'm pretty. Filler must have done it, I guess. Ralph Souquet will have done it. 100%. Ralph will have done it before.
I think also Dennis.
His filler.
Dennis Grape also.
Dennis Graba did it as well. Yeah.
Nice. Pretty elite field there.
Not many. It's an elite. He's in good company. Put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the only reason American hasn't done it yet is because we're too busy fishing. Demetrius would have done it by now, right, Demetrius?
You don't have to make fun of me, Dave.
And I still say it's the toughest tournament in the world to win. I still say that it's the toughest tournament in the world to win.
You can keep saying it.
Yep.
Well, it is. Well, it's the toughest tournament in the world to win.
Just let him go. Just let him go, Mike.
We're already starting, Jimmy. We're already starting.
All right, Victor. What do you think about that statement? Let's just ask you. We had a resident expert. Is that an accurate statement?
Well, maybe you have to be also lucky to win this event, but it's really tough tournament. But you have to be lucky to also win that event. It's really strong, but I believe World Championships are 10 more times harder to win.
You think so?
Thank you. All right,
what you're saying. What you're saying is Jim is wrong.
I mean, on the World Championships, the pressure is so much bigger than playing Euro Tour.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I put it another way?
No.
The depth of the field is stronger in a Euro Tour than it is in a World Championship.
No.
100%. You guys know nothing. We've got a bunch of Americans and a young kid.
Hold on, wait a minute. What year of a World Championship are we talking about? I don't think it'll
any of the years in Qatar.
Okay, relax, Jimmy.
Yeah.
No.
Please.
Go to a 10-ball event in the Philippines and go see how deep that is. Go to a U.S. Open and see how tough of an event that is. The pressure of winning a World Championship. Go and see how tough of an event that is. Don't get me wrong. I love Euro Tours, and they're deep full of players, and it's tough to go and do what Wiktor did. So, I mean, nothing but congratulations to him. But,
But please.
Yeah, relax, Jimmy. Relax.
Anyway, I believe, right now, the U.S. Open is the most difficult tournament to win. 250 players around from the whole world competing. It's really tough. And also format, single elimination from last, 16. So you have to win a lot of matches to get there.
Well, you've been playing all over the place.
What's your favorite tournament to play in?
Yeah.
What?
What's your favorite tournament to play in? Besides whichever one you win.
I don't even know. I really like the U.S. Open, last year's, because it was really cool. All diamond tables, new cloth, new balls, perfect venue. I think that was my one of favorite tournaments. Also Euro Tours are also one of my favorites. I like them.
But would you agree that the Matchroom stage and those kind of bigger events, U.S. Opens, World Championships, is it a different kind of pressure compared to playing on, let's say, a Euro Tour?
Yeah, I think so, because you have 6 Euro Tours throughout the year, and only, for example, 1 U.S. Open, so you have 6 chances to win the Euro Tour in the 1 year, just one chance to win the US Open, for example. So it's much more bigger pressure for me to win, like for example, your US Open than the Euro Tour.
There's only 6 Euro Tours, and you won back to back. That's even more impressive.
Not easy. So is 9-ball your game, Victor? Because we see you playing in a lot of different events, but it seems to be the 9-ball that where you have your most success. Is it your favorite, or is there other games that you'd prefer to be competing at and winning at?
Well, like I can't say it's my favorite game, but my break works perfect, I guess. So that's the reason why I won right now. 2 consecutive Euro Tours. I also like the 10-ball, but my break in 10-ball, like it's not as good in the 9-ball. With 9-ball the spot, so that's why and also like there are like only events in 9-ball right now, the worlds.
Mainly. Yeah. But you do the full tour. You were over in the States. You went to all the tournaments when there was that 2 or 3 the 2 months where it was just packed full of tournaments. You were there also traveling around the States with the rest of the Polish group, were you not?
Yeah, I was traveling there. I played like all these events, the US Open, 2 Predator Tours, American Straight Pool Championships. I enjoyed each of them, like really good tournaments, like good tables, good conditions. So yeah. But in Europe there are only like just 9-ball events. It's not like in the States, so that's why I'm just used to play 9-ball. Like all Europeans are used to play 9-ball, I guess, like because Predator is doing right now a good job that they are trying to make 10-ball like much more popular. So yeah, probably like we'll see like more disciplines, because also I really like One Pocket. It's like really nice game, but I believe it's
You're
really,
making him happy.
You hear that, Jimmy? You hear that?
I'm just not very good at it.
I mean, it's great game to play, like to learn some shots. Like it really, like you can learn a lot from that game. But for the fans, it's really boring to watch, because like one game can take, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours sometimes.
You're no longer making Mike happy.
No.
You call the
But no, it helps you see the table differently whenever you're playing different games. It really does. It helps you see that dynamic, very differently, and different options. And it's been interesting seeing you guys come last year. Graves had pretty good success playing in One Pocket, traveling around the country. Been seeing Alex and them play more. You guys from Poland playing more One Pocket. So it's cool to go and see, man. Bring that European style to the game.
Yeah, I'll try. Like, listen, I would love to, like, have also in Europe, like, events like in States, like some One Pocket tournaments, like, not just 9-ball, to be honest, because, like, you can learn a lot from the other games, not just from the 9-ball, because, like, different breaks, different, like, shots, tactics, like, each game is different.
You mentioned that a couple times now. Give me some ideas of what you learned playing One Pocket, what you learned playing Banks, maybe, that you've been able to apply to the other games.
Well, in One Pocket, like, I'm impatient, so I can, like, makes me much more patient throughout the game, because you have to wait, like, sometimes like 5 minutes for the one shot when the opponent's like thinking. So you have to be patient, like you cannot risk. And I also, like, pot everything, whatever like goes, just try to make the ball. And in One Pocket, like, you have to be careful, like, you cannot like risk, like, if you know that it's like 50-50, it's better to play safe than go for it, because if you don't make it, then you are like
Punished.
Yeah, you are punished, and you are already behind. So, that you will leave some shot, and maybe like it's already over. Bank pools also, like, I was really struggling with my banks, like 2 or 3 years ago. Like I couldn't make like some easy bank right now you have to like play some banks because it really gives you some it can gives you some advantage like in the top of the level because everyone like can make like direct shots. So like the ability to make some bank shots can give you some advantage in the match. So it's also really important. And you can notice how the banks are working on different tables, like playing like slow or like hit it hard. It's work totally different. So you can learn how the banks are working throughout the like some shots. I don't know.
What say you, Demetrius?
I'm just taking it all in. I mean, I think it's hard to quantify exactly how something is going to help something else. But I think that as long as, I think with the moving game, I could see for sure how playing one pocket, you're the emphasis on calculating percentages, moving the cue ball, cutting off lanes, thinking about what your opponent's going to do back. And just kind of there's so many more safeties where you're not always just trying to get behind a ball and freeze them. You're trying to double balls up, or you're trying to you're thinking about safe zones. And I just think going through that, I don't know. I think it's useful, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly how.
It'll torture you. There was a lot of talk when the Matchroom rankings first came out, Wiktor, and you were one of the names that was, I guess, left off. And did that kind of put a chip on your shoulder leading into 23? Because when I first saw him, you were one of the players in my mind that was like, wow, I thought the kid deserved to be there, a little higher up.
Well, tough to say. Better not to tell me about this Matchroom event. I believe that I would be there. And I'm right now like 35 for that year, but I will try. But I will try my best to be, and like let's say top 10. I believe that I can manage to do it for the 23rd of the next year. I will try to do my best. Like compete. I will compete in all events, all Matchroom events to get some points.
Yeah, I guess I meant that, like, did it motivate you, to work harder and make sure and
yeah,
not that you didn't give it your all before, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm always motivated, but I wanna compete like in all like worldwide events, like also Matchroom events, like World Masters, World Cup of Pool, because they are like most the best events. I believe so right now. So I want to be there. I want to show like my top game right now because I believe that I made some progress in last couple of years, last 2 years. I practiced a lot. I learned a lot of new stuff. So I just want to show my game.
It's paying off.
I have a question. When you're looking at these players that are, you're talking about being top 10, and clearly, you're doing it. So, but when you look at that, when you look at the players that you have to pass, David Alcady and Max Lecter and these guys that play so strong. Do you look at their games? Do you see weaknesses in their games where you're like, yeah, I think I can beat these guys because these, do you see things in your game that you feel give you an edge over players like Alcady? Or do you just kind of say, hey, it's really, really tough. Everyone's great, but let's just do my best and, see if I can't get to the top and outrun them? I mean, how do you think of it? It just seems like such a daunting task.
Well, tough question. Like, on this level, it's tough to see like, some weaknesses of your top opponents. So I'm just trying like, to play my top game, just, be focused all the time, just show that like, I will be better.
And even if they had a weakness, you may not want to go and point it out, You may not
don't tell them what their weakness
you may not want to tell them, where they got a hole in their game, because then they may go and just work on it in the lab for the next, 30 days and get a lot better at that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, like, all the players are getting better and better. Like, Europeans are getting better and better right now because of, I believe, also competing in the US events, like, also learning some shots from the one pocket, like, we have like maybe some new vision also of pool, like we can like see like from the different point that there are still some possibilities to play like some other shots sometimes, and it's stuff like pool is moving forward, like everyone gets better, and it's like less. It's like the margin is much more shorter right now. Like you cannot make any mistakes. Probably like one bad push out can be right now like can cost you a match. So
well, it shows with the standard we saw with your semifinal and final, because it was very few mistakes and a lot of breaking runs.
Yeah, both matches I played close to perfection. Like with Wojtek, I missed just one ball, I think.
That was a crazy match. I think 11 breaking runs in that match.
Yeah, I made 6 probably, and Wojtek made
5. Crazy out of 16 rack.
Yeah, all like first 5 breaks, all break and runouts. Like we started like 3-2 and all break and runouts. It was like crazy. And then Wojtek also made 6 break and runout in a row, but he missed this tricky 6 ball. But anyway, like still, and with Yoshi also, like it was still a lot of break and runouts. I believe like I also made 5 or 6.
Yeah,
not sure.
And he just played one bad safety at the end and left the 3 ball hanging over the middle pocket, and that was it. That was the end.
It was also like it was quite unlucky shot because there's really like the gap, like perfect gap just for the pocket.
Okay, I think if you have to jump, it's an easy jump. Also, I think.
Yeah, but still, he was quite unlucky that he left the free ball on the edge of the side pocket.
Yeah,
he played quite good.
You almost put yourself in trouble with position on the 5 ball, but you managed to get back.
Like I also felt the pressure because like I left
put on it a little.
Yeah, I left the tricky angle on the 4 ball, and I didn't want to overcome the 5 ball with a lot of angles, so I played like I thought like it's better to come out shorter than getting hooked from the 9 ball. In the end, I played like good shot on this 5 ball. Also a little bit lucky because the cue ball could stretch. It was so close, scratching to the corner pocket, but in the end, I handled the pressure and happy that I managed to pocket the final 9 ball.
But it's like you say with these tournaments, it's very small. One bad push. I mean, you went into the loser side very early, I think, in your second match, and then you had one match, I think, in the last 32 against Sergei that went hill. So it's really at that moment one bad push or one.
Yeah, I mean, like these 2 matches, to be honest, have different stories because first match was like the first day of the game. I just played 1 match at the time, and my head was somewhere else.
Yeah.
Due to that, my girlfriend was in Kiev, and she told me that she's trying to quit the Ukraine due to the war which is happening right now. And I was so worrying about her, just crossing my fingers and praying that she can make it to the Poland, just cross the Polish border. And after 24 hours of traveling by a lot of trains, some cars, taxis, buses, she finally managed to cross the Polish border. And since that point, I was feeling more comfortable. My head was already I could focus on my game, just play my game without any stress anymore. It's still a little bit stressful. What?
At what stage in the tournament did you find that out? How many rounds had you played?
Sorry.
When you found out that your girlfriend was safe and she was across the border, where were you in the tournament?
I think it was like 3rd round of the loser side. I won like 1 match. I won my first match in the Sunday morning, and then I got a message from her telling me that she's already safe. She crossed the border and she's on her way to my hometown. So I was so relieved that she's already safe, but still it's a really tough situation because her family is stuck in Kiev and can't leave because like brother is 19 and he has to be there, ready to defend his country. Mother can't live without him. She doesn't wanna leave him alone right there, and father also like can't live because he is like 52 right now, so he also has to be ready.
So her family's still there.
It's a really sad story about that, but I hope that this will finish soon, and Ukraine will have a freedom as they had in the last 20 or 30 years. Because like it's crazy story. Like we all have to stand with Ukraine right now and pray for them, support them as much as we can. Because like it's tough. Even like if you've seen some videos from the Ukraine right now, you will understand me. Like it's tough. Like to imagine what all Ukrainians are feeling right now. Even my girlfriend, like it will be tough times for me, for her, and for everyone who have some family in Ukraine and who is like
Well,
Well,
we
yeah,
all hope it ends quickly and safely, and we can move on.
And that victory will stay with you for the. That'll remain probably one of the most emotional victories you'll have in your career. So, listen, congratulations for toughing that out under those circumstances and still managing to perform the way you did. That takes a lot of bottle and a lot of heart. So, really, congratulations.
Well done. And I'm very happy. And also, we told me that about the last 32 where I played Sergei Lutska. Like some of us like thought like should we play with Russians? I know that they played like without flag. They are innocent. They're like they are not guilty because of what Putin is doing. But like right now, I can, for example, imagine like playing like against them, like for example, in the final of the European Championships, and losing to it and listening Russian anthem in the end. It's like like it's a really tough situation. I never felt like stressful like that because I wanted to win so much that match under current circumstances. Like once again, I know that they are innocent also, but under these circumstances and fact that my girlfriend is from Ukraine, like I really wanted to win that match.
Yeah,
it's like also tough situation for them because like they are like they have to be unfortunately responsible for what's Russia doing, and they are innocent. Like I also like feel sorry for them, but I think
they just want to play pro like everybody else.
But
like everybody else.
Yeah, but that's I believe it's the only way right now. It's the only right choice right now, unfortunately for them. But that's what everyone is doing right now. We will all have to fight against Russia because like nobody know what can happen like next day if they like if they win the war over Ukraine. Nobody knows what can happen later with the war, like NATO and whatever.
Yeah, difficult.
So just as an update, do you know how your girlfriend's family is doing? They're still okay and everything's as good as it can
be?
As
for yesterday, I know that they were safe, but don't know how they are feeling right now in Kiev because I got some news that the already like convoy of the Russian is approaching Kiev, like 60 kilometers of Russian army. Like it's strange to imagine like how many thousands of like soldiers are approaching Kiev. No, there's no safe. A lot of shelling, bombing, like it's going on there. Like civilians are being killed right now. Like more and more deaths with each next day. Civilians, it's really sad to hear about that, to watch what's going on there. Just pray for that everything will stop soon and everything will be fine.
Absolutely.
Because like even right now, as I told like in the interviews, the sport aspects are not that important as like people's lives, because like innocent people are being killing like for nothing. They are just fighting for their freedom right now. They just want to be like they want to have freedom. It's tough. It's, don't know even what to say. There are no words for that situation.
Yeah, it's difficult for us to imagine what you're going through, mentally, emotionally with your girlfriend, with her family, and so we certainly.
During the event, I was just like when I got the message, I just wanted to play my game because like I was just so happy. Like I've already won. That my girlfriend like tried to cross the Polish border. Like it was my biggest win. Like that, I was supporting her so much. I was just trying. Like, and I was telling her that you have to quit because it was like story that she had to go. She had the plane on the Friday morning there to Slovenia to play the European Championships and also Euro Tour. And she was supposed to go there because the federation bought her tickets. And as she wanted to play the championships, she went there. And she also hoped, like, she couldn't believe that the war can happen. And I was praying just, she left on the last Sunday, not this one, but the previous one. And just, it was like, period of 5 days with I was just praying, like, please, nothing happened that days. And unfortunately, Wednesday morning, the Russians started shelling, bombing, and like all flights cancelled, like everything stopped. Polish border, like borders are being closed for some months, and I just I was it's tough even to describe my feelings, and even tougher to describe Daria's feelings and her family. It's tough to imagine for me, and I believe for everyone.
Yeah, well, you'll be in our thoughts going forward for sure.
Yeah.
Getting back, if we can get back to the pool and the Euro Tour a little bit.
Good transition, Mike.
Well, we're. Now, I'm just curious. I mean, you talk about winning 2 Euro Tours in a row, and you're really starting to hit your stride and get confidence, and you're only 21. And it's kind of, we're looking at the 21-year-olds, and we're looking at Federer, and we're looking at, guys like Josh who are just a couple of years older. Do you have a goal? Do you have a time frame that you have in your head where you really want to win one of those, major titles? Euro Tours are difficult to win, no doubt, but to get on that international stage and win an international title, do you have a goal in mind? And how do you mentally prepare yourself to make that next big jump?
Well, to be honest, I don't have any time frame for winning some tournaments. I believe that by training, practicing, like improving myself, it will just come out. Like it will be just a matter of time when it comes. To be honest, my biggest problem, I guess, it's still like the head. Because for me it's tough to handle the pressure. Sometimes I cracked a lot of times in the past under the pressure. So right now I'm happy that my head is working better, and I think that it will pay off by winning some events in the future. But I don't have any goals right now. Just to play my game and see what will happen. Just, play my game without any just try to be focused on the table, like handle with the pressure, and I believe that the results will come out.
Well, we talked about this a little bit off air, but that match with Filler is a good is a good kind of like building up for you, like as far as your mental aspect of the game and toughen you up and with heart, because you're up the whole match. You have a 2 to 3 game cushion. He closes the gap. Would have been real easy having Josh Filler on the other side to fold and, let him go and finish off to 9. But you showed you had a lot of backbone there and a lot of fight in you and held him off for an eventual 9-7 victory. So by going and having those matches like that with that caliber of players, it's, you're getting your feet in that same class.
Yeah, listen, I was never like, I've never like, let's say I'm fearless. Like, I know that Joshua is like one of the biggest names on the pool stage right now, but I just want to beat them. But as I told you, like, my biggest weakness, I believe, is the head, and like a lot of times I just cracked under the pressure on like some crucial shots, and I'm just happy that my head worked so well in that match, and I was able to show my abilities in that match. Because, like,
well, every time you do crack under pressure, though, you learn from it, don't you? How do you work that to your advantage the next time?
Tough question, to be honest. I don't know how to respond to that. It's coming natural. I mean, like, it's tough to practice for me. Like, mental side, it's for me tough to imagine how I can, like, improve that. Because I don't even know. It's like tough to imagine for me how you can improve yourself on the mental side, because I think it's the most difficult part of the game. Like, improve your mental side. Because, like,
I think that a lot of things, there are things that you do analytically, and then there's things you do intuitively or organically. And I think that for example, I talked to a player once that was telling me that every time they missed a ball, they tried to figure out what they did wrong. Like, what did they? Oh, I decelerated, or I didn't adjust for cut induced throw, or all these different things. And I said, because they had this idea that, well, I've got to figure out what I did wrong to get better. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think that a lot of players, when you hit a ball bad, you just kind of feel like, oh, that's not the feeling I was looking for. And you're just like, you remember the feeling that you wanted to have. And you can still kind of correct without actually doing it analytically. You could do it kind of like a feel, like, that's not the feel I wanted, or I didn't hit that with confidence. Next time I want to hit it where it feels good, where it's crisp and it goes in clean. It's more of a picture. It's more of a feel. And I think when it comes to learning from losses and things like this, I don't know that you sit there and you say, okay, when did I get nervous? Why did I let that pressure bother me? How am I going to do it different? I don't think you control that all, like thinking about it all necessarily. You can, but also just by going through it again and again, you're just like, yeah, that was that time where I kind of I got a little weak there. Next time I'm in that spot, I'm going to try to be ready to handle that better. And it's just more of a kind of a subconscious process. And I don't know how else you get there other than a lot of competition and a lot of losses.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like, as you told, like, thinking about the, like, missed balls or wherever, it's not good for you, because you are thinking about that, like, in the later stages, and you have, like, you're playing some, like, you're in different game, like, already, like, and you are thinking about, like, missing a ball in the first game, in the first rack. You're already in the 7th rack. You are thinking, like, why did I miss that 8 ball, for example? It's not good for you, because it affects your mind, I believe, and you cannot be focused. You have to, like, forget immediately about that. Okay, I missed. It happens. Just forget about it. Just be focused, like, on the next game, because it can, like, disturbs you. And the game, just, you have to be focused, like, all the time. It can affect you, I believe. So it's a good point. Like, but you have to forget, like, it's also, like, part of the game. I know it's tough, but you have to do it. Like, you have to be focused all the times. Just also, like, I had the big problems when, like, the Nibble is the game where the luck is needed, and when someone is lucky, you're also probably thinking, like, oh my God, he fluked another ball, and you are thinking about that. I was supposed to win that game, and he fluked the ball, and it's his game, not mine. Like, I played the perfect safety, and he won that game. And also couldn't affect your mind. You have to forget it. Like, it happened. Like, you have to move forward and just play your game still. Like, it happens, Nimble, but it's a good point. Like, you have to forget about it and just move forward on your game.
Well, and I have a question about, I think a lot of people have this question is, Poland has so many strong pool players right now. And how, like, what are you doing in Poland to achieve this amount of champions? Like, do you guys have some secret sauce that you what is, or tell me about this?
I mean, like, everyone, because in the Poland there are many good players, like really top players in the Europe, and everyone wants to be the best, and it motivates each one to become better and better. And I think that's the main point, and that's the good thing, because it's like healthy rivalry, so everyone wants to be the best, but everyone
Who was the first? Was there like one player that kind of paved the way, or who was your pool mentor that you looked up to? Was there a player that you wanted to emulate when you were growing up, or was it someone local in Poland?
Well, I always wanted to be better than Mateusz Śniegowski, to be honest, because he was also living in Poznań, in my hometown, so we know each other very well, and probably he won the most major titles for Poland right now. Also, he won the 3 Euro Tours throughout his career. Maybe more to come for him also. And I always wanted to be better, because like, I want to be better in my club than someone else. I want to be the best. So it always motivates you in the, good way.
Well, then I've got one more question I was dying to ask. It's a little different, but then I'll sit down for a while. But the Euro Tour, how many players are in a typical Euro Tour event? Is it 64 or 128? How many players do you get in a Euro Tour event?
Oh, it's always over 200.
200.
Right.
So when most of these players are playing, most of these players don't have real chances of winning. There's against the top levels of competition, they're so strong. So you've got 200 players showing up to tournaments that pay a very top heavy, and it's so hard at the top to get all the way. In the U.S., the only way that we figured out how to do that is to make the tables, about this big and handicap them. How do you get hundreds of players showing up and paying money and traveling to play in tournaments that they can't win? How is it able to happen, do you think? What's the difference between the Euro Tour filling versus the USA's inability to fill a tournament? Similar.
Well, tough question. Need to think about it. Like, I mean,
I don't know. We don't have an answer, so I don't know why I think you would.
I mean, the Euro Tour is still the biggest tournament in Europe right now, so everyone wants to play in it, and it's also for the rankings, you have to play Euro Tour events to qualify for example, World Championships, or I just got the nomination for the World Games throughout the Euro Tour ranking, so you have to also play it. And
congratulations.
It's really tough tournament, because there are 30 players, let's say, who can win this tournament, and over 100 players, I believe, who can you lose to, because it's quite easy tables, like race to 9, everything can happen. So
I was going to say the bad players at the Euro Tour are still banging on 700 Fargo. You're saying that there's players there that can't win. I agree. There's a lot of players that can't win it, but they're still above the 670, 680 Fargo, so they can still play the game and they can still cause upsets. They're not going to go through.
You sure can, Jim.
Yeah.
No, being serious.
What do you got against 670 Fargos?
That's what I told you. I believe that there are 100 players that you can lose to, like, if you make, like, you are not playing your best game, your A game, like you play your C game and someone's play his best game, you can easily lose to him. So, I lost in the first round. The guy, like, he's also quite good, but I shouldn't, like, it shouldn't be for sure, like 9-2, to be honest. But, like, you can lose to like over 100 players, I believe, because like many strong players over there.
Yeah, and historically, everything has been taken from the Euro Tour rankings. When the teams are getting picked for the World Cup of Pool, for instance, your spot on the Euro Tour ranking basically dictated whether or not you are maybe the number 2 on your team. For the likes of like the Polish team, they've got so many to play for that it's important for the Polish players to get themselves in the ranking to get that spot in the World Cup of Pool. Because it'll be.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how it's working exactly, so I don't want.
This year it's not. This year it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I better not to say many opinion about it. I just hope. Let me just.
Good answer, buddy.
Let's talk about the ranking now, because you're now sitting at number 3 on the ranking. That would officially give you a place in the Mosconi Cup this year. I mean, the ranking is for the Masters, for the PLP, for the World Cup of Pool to a certain extent, and for the Mosconi Cup. I mean, it's obviously something that you want to achieve in your career. I personally think you're one of the players that will get there, that will play a Mosconi Cup, that will break through into the Fedor categories, into the filler categories and stuff like that. You talked about your mentality. Do you watch the Mosconi Cup when it's happening every year? Do you watch it on television?
Yeah. Like I believe it's dream of every European player to be part of it. It's also my dream.
When you watch it, would you say you were ready now to do it, or do you think, I'd like to, but maybe not yet?
Tough to predict. I believe that maybe I'm not ready yet, but I will try my best in the next years to get there. Because right now, like, I'm right now third, but the crucial tournaments will be the World Championships or
a lot will change.
Or US Open, where the prize money is it's 60,000 for winning it, or 50. So if you win something like that tournament, you have to win, for example, 10 Euro Tours. So it's not. So it's like tough.
Money.
It's tough.
Yeah, but I like the system. It's really good system. It's like in the snooker ranking, I believe. That how much you won. It's how many points you get. So that's good system.
You've performed very well at Euro Tours. You've won 3 of them, but I mean, I've been there, and and you can see it on the stream. When it gets to the final, there's maybe just the players who are still waiting to get a flight or who are traveling the next day that are sitting watching it. There's not really much of a crowd watching the final. So you're used to, in the Euro Tours, you're used to playing in relative quiet, whereas the Mosconi Cup, as we know, is anything except quiet. Is that something that you feel that you would enjoy, that extra atmosphere and the noise, or are you somebody who sits in when you're practicing that says, I need it to be quiet and I don't want people around me? Or
well, during the practicing, I like the quiet and peace. I want to be alone, practice alone without any music even, because I like to practicing just alone right now. But I think when it comes to the tournaments, it's a little bit different. I like playing in front of the audience, with some emotions. It's what also motivates me to play my best game, show my best game to the people. So yeah, I hope that I would enjoy this event really, because the atmosphere there, as I see on the TV screens, it's really different. It's different than others.
It's like nothing else.
I think it's on the horizon for you, buddy.
I think it happens. I think it happens in the next.
Hopefully, but as
Jimmy only thinks there's 4 players. So Jimmy only thinks there's 4 players. That's it.
I give it 3 years. I give it 3 years, and Wiktor is in the team at some stage within the next 3 years.
I think it's still for me a long way to go. Like, you know, a lot of tournaments, a lot to learn still for me. So,
what type of stuff are you practicing on the table? Like when you get, I know you compete a lot, but when you do practice on your own, what do you like to do?
I practice like a lot of break. I'm practicing breaks right now because I believe breaks are one of the most important thing right now, because if you don't have a break, you don't have the chance to win the match these days. So yeah, like breaks, also like some banks, like safety games, because when it comes to like, you know, pocketing the balls right now on the tables, like, you know, Eurotours, as I told you, they're like, you know, quite big pockets, so the pocketing the balls are not the problem. And I'm trying to focus on the other parts of the game, like for example also jump shots, which can give me some advantage in front of, like, you know, other players. Because like as I told you, on the, like, you know, highest level, like, you know, one aspect of the game can like decide who can win the match, because like
Yeah. I think about it like there's two parts of the game. There's the generating opportunities and there's the converting. And so when you generate opportunities, you have to get chances, and that comes from the break, pushing out, fighting for the first, you know, making that first tough shot, you know, safeties, kicks, jumps. And then once you've got control of the table and you just have a run out, then it's about running the table and converting on those chances, you know, pocketing patterns, cue ball. What I hear you saying is you're running out very well. So while you're always going to keep running out and keep practicing your run out game, right now what you're really focused on is just fine tuning every little edge of the things where you're generating your share of the opportunities to score. So you're really pushing on your break, your safeties, your jumps, maybe your kick shots, things like this, just to make sure you feel that if you get your chances, you'll do well with them.
yeah, exactly. So I agree like with everything what you said right now, because like I feel really confident when it comes to the pocketing the balls. So just, you know, you have to generate the opportunities to be able to get some layouts, to get some points, get some racks, and eventually win the match.
On a lot of those elite matchroom stages, they're transitioning now to 4-inch pockets. We've seen it in the Masters. We've seen it in the PLP. We know the Euro Tours, you know, mainly on bigger size pockets. So are training on, let's say, 4-inch or 4 1/8, 4 1/4. Is that something that you do back home, or are you just practicing like that same size as Euro Tours?
No, I'm practicing, to be honest, on the dynamic tables, which the pockets are pretty similar to the Eurotour tables. But for me, it's really like good idea to make the pockets smaller, to make that game like a little bit more difficult. It's like, you know, as you've seen, like I think many players complain right now about the pocket sizes, so it's good, I believe, for our sport, that it will be like, you know, more fair, like it will bring like, you know, more, also much more mistakes, which is
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, but for me it's really good idea. I'm really like, you know, up to it.
All right. Well, I've just got one more thing. It's more of a piece of advice for you, Wiktor. Something that I noticed. Yeah, now that you're winning all these Euro Tours and everything, and the World Championships coming up, Matchroom is taking on all these massive tournaments, and everything's going to be televised. Please do me a favor. Clean your shaft. You have the dirtiest shaft on your cue that I have ever seen. It almost,
yeah, I know. To be honest, like last
you're on
time,
television, it almost looks like you're
last
losing
time when I cleaned my shaft, it was like 5 years ago. But it was good.
It is the dirtiest shaft I've ever seen.
That sounds like a good transition for Manscaped.
Like, you know, many players like asked me, like, you know, how can you play with
It's
That
so
shot
dirty.
with-
And you have no
without-
glove either.
Yeah,
Ugh.
no glove. Like, how can you play? Like, oh my god, that just can. I don't feel like. I mean, like, it's like, I can feel the glove, like playing with the glove. It's like, if it works well, just stay with it. Just stick to it. Just
True.
Yeah, but it looks like you're playing with a rack cue.
It's not a beauty contest, as you well know, Jim. Not a beauty
Wiktor-
contest.
No, yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be yeah. Or I'd win every time.
So,
Oh, boy.
Victor, you're going to come to the U.S. now, playing the World 10 Ball, some events in the U.S. You were here for a long time last year. Are you looking forward to coming back again so soon? And how many trips will you make to Chipotle?
Yeah, yeah. I really miss the Chipotle right now because Chipotle is only in the US, so it's a shame for me that I can't eat it right now in Poland. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, to play the Predator Tour followed by the World Temple Championships. I really love States. It's a good country. Maybe I'll also move there in the future.
Wow.
Because there's good place because the pool is growing there, so many opportunities to play some good tournaments over there and some also matches.
Huge,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm just gonna.
huge Polish representation in Chicago. Biggest Polish community outside of Warsaw.
I'm just saying, Victor. If you get your citizenship, you got a guaranteed spot in the Mosconi Cup for the next 25 years. You can play every year. Every year.
At least.
We got you. I will talk to Jeremy. I will make sure that you have a stamped ticket that says whenever you want to use it, you're on the team. You got it. How does that
But
sound?
he might like
No,
the challenge. He might like the challenge of staying.
I
in the
want to
Euros.
be.
He wants to win.
No,
Your team. He
I
wants
want
to-
Here
some
we go.
challenges, and I want to be qualified as a European.
Of course.
Because to be picked as the
with the
European
winning
is
team,
really
like-
tough. Many top players there are many players who can be in the team right now and still beat USA. I believe so.
Who do you think? Who would be your toughest opponent if you had to face one player in the finals of the World Championship? Who do you think would be? Is there one opponent that you think would be the toughest, or do you think that at that level it doesn't make a difference?
I think, to be honest, it would be Albin,
Mm.
because in my opinion, Albin always each perfect. Each aspect of the game is the highest level, maybe except the mental part, because sometimes he can get angry a little bit. But when it comes to the pocketing balls, jump shots, safety game, kicking the balls, for me it's one of the toughest guys to beat right now.
He's got a really good mix between being very aggressive and very powerful, but
His
still
decision
being,
making.
but still being
Yeah,
very good
yeah,
pattern,
he's also very smart at the table.
right?
He's
Patterns
not.
and cue ball and safeties and all the he manages the game without he's
Yeah.
very aggressive without losing his head.
He never plays
Yeah,
the wrong shot.
he doesn't risk when he doesn't have to do it. So he's also really smart at the table. All decisions are always perfect.
Yeah. Now, one thing I haven't asked, you being kind of on the younger side, when I grew up, I watched pool a lot in the 90s and even the 2000s. So, when I grew up, a lot of the U.S. players, Buddy Hall, Nick Varner, Mike Siegel. Have you watched any of the the older school pool players, or did you not really go back and watch that growing up? What year did you start paying attention to pool? Was it when you started, or did you ever watch before that?
Well, I started when I was 8. It was 2009. So from that point, I got into billiards, and from that point, I started watching some games. So maybe when I started watching some games, it was time when Darren Appleton was winning like many tournaments, world championships, world games, also like Mosconi Cups. So it was that time. But in the past, like when you ask me about the Efren Reyes or like Earl Strickland, Buddy Hall, like I haven't watched the matches from the past. So
yeah, no worries. It's not like chess. In chess they all have to go back and watch, learn from all the games. But there's probably the game has changed, the game is elevated. There's not much to learn from anybody other than who's winning right now. The best player to watch is the player that's winning, and in this case, that's you. So you just watch your own games, and then you're probably good.
yeah. As I told you, like pool is moving forward with each next game. With each next year, you have to be better and better to be able to win the tournament because, like, with each next year, like every player jumps better, kicks better, breaks better. So you have to also improve yourself to be able.
So what do you
win.
think in 10 years from now, the game goes up another level? What can be improved on from today's performances? Like what are the players in 2030 going to be doing on the table that allows them to get better? I mean, are they going to just play shape for jump shots and just, to simplify their patterns because they jump so good? Like what's left?
I don't know. Like there are many changes in last years in the pool, like about the formats. Like I think it depends on the format of the game. Like tough to predict for me, to be honest. Like we just need to wait and see, and
Yeah,
just follow the things which will happen in these tournaments.
Well, buddy, massive congratulations, Wiktor. You're off to a hell of a start in 23, man. You're in an elite field of players who have won back-to-back Euro Tours. The future's bright for you, brother, and we're looking forward to seeing you out in Vegas.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you there.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Yep, I just got
Thanks
one
a lot,
question
Victor.
on the way out. One question on the way out. If Wiktor is representing Poland for the World Cup of Pool, who do you want as your partner?
Oh,
That's got to be the toughest pick in pool is picking the World Cup team for Poland. Jesus.
Which of the 75 Polish players do you want?
we got
him.
What, is it a question to me or what?
Yeah.
To you, yeah.
What to me? God damn. Like I don't know. I have many. Like tough to say. Like I have many friends. Like I don't have guaranteed spot yet, so I can't tell you that I can be in the World Cup. Just tough to say. Like many, great players, many friends. So I just don't want to say one name.
All right, give us 3. Rank in order from first to third.
Jeez.
No, leave him alone.
No, it's my secret.
Don't let him bully you. Don't let him bully you. You stand your ground.
No, just to be honest, I hope that I will make the team Poland this year. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know.
Well, if Poland doesn't pick you at this point, I'm pretty sure they hate money.
Well, it's not up to me. I don't know what's the criteria right now. So just wait. I just need to wait and see. But I hope. I'm really feeling confident right now. I really am feeling that my game is really good right now. So I just hope that I will be able to show on the main stages of the Matchroom that I'm ready to show something.
I know you are.
Sure. All right. Well, Wiktor, we'll let you scoot out of here. We appreciate you sitting in with us.
Thank you for joining.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed the time here.
And we're wishing the best for your girlfriend's family.
Listen, I hope that everyone will stand with Ukraine and support them as much as they can, because everyone can support by donating for the Russian army, something or wherever. Each help can be crucial at that point. So if you can just support Ukraine, because it's great. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, well, with that, we'll let you get out of here. Thanks again for joining us, and best of luck in with your trip back to the U.S. and we'll be watching for you in Vegas.
Yeah, thank you very much. See you guys.
I'll see you at the UK Open.
Yeah. All right. Well, guess what now, guys?
First of all, I told Jimmy not to be talking about Federer. Okay, I told him don't even mention that name on this TV show. And earlier he says he brings up Federer. Okay, we all know who your top 4 are, buddy. Okay,
when did I say Federer?
You were talking about him earlier. I didn't want to cut you off earlier, Jim, but I was waiting for the interview to be finished with to get in you.
Wow. You know what? Just for everybody that watched me, this guy here has been on me. Where am I doing for the last 48 hours?
We got a group chat where I'm busting Jim up left and right. Any chance I can get.
It's like the only time I open my phone, number of notifications, like you've got like 87 messages. I'm like, what's going on? I look at the chain. You guys are
Mike is just being
Demetrius is like, I don't even have 86.
I'm like,
friends.
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this level of energy.
I'm reading all. I'm thinking, was I drunk last night and I sent him messages that I shouldn't have been sending or something? Why is he being so nasty to me? Turns out he's just a nasty man.
Hey.
And Panozzo's over in the corner, just like, shut up, guys. I want to talk pool. That's all I care about.
Let's talk about. I'm getting messages sent to me. Let's talk about what this ranking means. It's just been posted.
No, not yet. We gotta do stuff first. Well, before we transition off of this, just so everybody knows, Mike, Panozzo acts like he's, this nice guy who just wants to talk pool and be all professional. This guy's worse than all of us combined. He torches all of us in the chat. Our private chat, he kills everyone. So don't let that.
Wow, you
don't
guys
let
are
that friendly face.
And just so everybody knows, everyone knows, let's just so everyone knows, Nate is not all of a sudden a fan of wearing caps. He was just too lazy to do his hair. Right?
I need a haircut.
It's just
bad.
Scruff.
I need a haircut, Pat. I feel homeless. That's how scruffy I feel. And speaking of homeless and needing to get a haircut, why don't we do a Manscaped ad, Jim? Doesn't that sound like fun?
Do it. We all love a Manscaped.
Oh, no.
Mike's excited.
All right, guys. Can I get a round of applause? Today, I'm excited to announce Manscaped launched their Ultra Premium Collection. Believe it or not, it's for your not-so-private parts. Fun. I'm talking about a leveling up hygiene routine with your favorite manly scent. This is an all-in-one skin and hair care kit for the everyday man and covers you from head to toe, literally. Manscaped is trusted below the waist, now trusted with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with code QItUpPod. Support the podcast, They have an awesome new. We actually got this one. That has the body wash, the hair, or the hair, the shampoo. That's what it is. They got lip balm. So they got lots of stuff for the rest of your body now.
I have a problem with Manscaped having lip balm.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm not putting any of else in my mouth.
I don't know if anybody else sees this problem or not.
I'm quite happy to accept their products and to sit here and go, yes, your wives and girlfriends will thank you, but I'm not putting anything they produce in my mouth.
They're going with that flavored body wash next, buddy. The scratch and sniff.
Listen here, guys.
What if you get mixed up with your products and then all of a sudden you don't want to be doing that.
Manscaped is all about making sure nothing on your body gets chapped, including your lips. So
there you go.
Did you not see the crop preserver? That's to make sure you don't get chapped, Jim. Demetrius, you're on my side, right?
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember the lip balm. I didn't get, but I got the shampoo and conditioner, and it's great, man.
You're looking well for it. Yeah, it's making a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, it really brings out the gray. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Anyways, make sure you head over to manscaped.com and use code QItUpPod. Support the show that you almost a little and gets you through your workday or something like that. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the rankings, I guess. I guess I could throw these up here. This is based off of the money earned. I get the idea as to why you're going to put everybody in the world on it, but I just don't understand why, for the ones that they publish, why you have to have Philippines on there. I mean, it's okay, whatever. It's not like a huge deal or anything, but it's not like Roland Garcia's going to, well, I guess, yeah, maybe a World Cup of pool. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Not just that, but it'll affect other things, the Masters and other invitations.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm looking at this from a Mosconi Cup.
Because it's going to be what Matchroom uses to make their invitations.
Yeah.
But what people seem to be not aware of on Facebook is they're not reading the very top of the graphic. It's the 2023 rankings, not the 2022 rankings. It doesn't mean that the next event, that those are going to be the invitations. The ranking has started now to build a ranking that will be used in 2023 for invitations. This ranking is not valid now. It's only been 2 events. You can't turn around and say, yes, Sanchez Ruiz is number 1 in the world and he will now get an invite to the World Pool Masters. If he's outside of the top 24 on the ranking for 2022, he's not getting in regardless of where he is now on the 2023. This is a ranking that's built up that will be used in 2023, not now. So people are on Facebook. Facebook seems to be exploding with people saying, this ranking's a joke. How can Mika be above Shane? Why is Albin not on it? He's just won the PLP. Yeah, give it a time for this thing to form and to become
Reading's
what
tough.
Be.
Reading is tough. I mean, it can be brutal.
It's easier for people to just write this ranking as a joke rather than to actually go to the Matchroom site or ask somebody, how is this ranking working? Have them explain to them as if you're talking to a baby, and then they go, oh, all right, then that probably makes a bit of sense. Yeah, I mean,
to be clear, if you're going to ask somebody, do not ask me.
I got a guy contacting me on Facebook saying this ranking is stupid because Federer actually earned more money than Sanchez Ruiz at the Derby City Classic. Mate, why am I even answering these questions? I mean, it's just.
Are we about to have another snakes on a plane moment, Jim?
Yeah, probably. I'm done now. I just, it's idiots annoy me.
No, if
it makes you feel any better, Jim, at least you get those
Welcome
questions.
to my world, Jimmy. Welcome to my world, being in a group chat with you, my man.
The questions I get.
What? Really? Wow.
Just kidding, buddy. I'm just kidding, buddy.
The questions I get are, how much does a flight cost to Vegas? I get those kind of questions.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
From people I don't even know.
I was asked the question I was asked a question a couple of days ago. Do you know what time the sessions start in Vegas? Because I don't know whether to book a hotel for an extra night before or an extra night after. Asking me, can you tell me what time the sessions start?
Like respond both.
Yeah.
It's the only thing worse than being shocked that people respond before they read things is us spending time talking about those people.
Yes.
True story, Mike.
Let's talk about what Mike wants to talk about.
What's that?
Fair. All right.
Let's talk
about
Mike,
what do you want to talk about?
Which Mike?
Well, I think it was interesting. Who, me or Molina?
Panozzo.
This guy.
Oh, okay. Well,
the important one.
Obviously, talking to Wiktor, he was very passionate about everything that's going on in the world, how it's affecting them, and we know now that Russian players aren't going to be able to play in any of the Matchroom events. They're not going to be able to play in the Euro Tour events, anything that's WPA sanctioned. And this isn't a matter of politics for me, who I think is right or who I think is wrong. It's just obviously it's terribly unfortunate for the players that are involved. What we don't probably understand, particularly U.S. fans and players, is you could tell the amount of emotion in him when he talked about playing Sergei Lusker. And that kind of caught me off guard because, we're all in this together, and why are the athletes being blamed and things like that? We don't know what's going through these people's hearts and souls and bodies when things like this happen. So fortunately, we don't know a lot about that firsthand. So it's a really tough situation. It's a difficult situation for everybody. I understand what's being done and why. So just like to get everybody else's feedback on and how it's affecting the pool world and our friends who play.
Well, it just seems like another ripple after James Aranis and Dennis Urkullo not being around. It just seems like that's obviously a different issue, but it all has to do with
take that into account.
But it just all has to do with political. Just the political environment impacting the pool world in different ways. And you can say it wasn't political, but the heightened border, the heightened priority on maintaining borders and all that. It's because of what's going on. So anyway, the point is that it just you take double D, DD and Urkullo out. You take out Fedor. It's very strange. It almost feels, and then plus on top of that, you've got the Chinese and the Asian players that have been out for 2 years. I just feel like it's a really weird time to watch because Wu and the Cole brothers and Dennis and James and now Fedor is like we're talking about. We're not just talking about like one player, and we're not talking about one contender. We're talking about if you wanted to pick the top 10 players in the world, we're talking about half of them. You know what I mean? Half of them. JL Chain. Half of them are gone. It's just really a strange thing,
Literally, you're right. Like I don't think you can name a top 10 right now without half of them being removed in some sort of sense. Like I don't know what this means for. I know you kind of made it seem like Fedor's gone. He played in this last event. Is he going to be barred from coming back to the U.S. now? Does anybody know that?
Well, I don't know. You don't know whether he can get out of Russia plane wise and get into the U.S. As far as playing in tournaments, and he can play in anything that's not WPA sanctioned. So
as far as we know right now, he's not even in Russia, right? He was just in Europe last week.
Yeah, I don't know much about what he's doing, but again, it's a tough situation. You would think that if he did come to tournaments, that his fellow players would welcome him, but I don't know that. I don't know that for sure.
It affects pool massively. Federer's one of the guys who he may not be in that top 10 list of rankings, but you better believe all it takes is one event for his ass to go and get up there and be at number one. And he's got every ability in the world to go and snap off a world championship, which he probably won't be able to do. He has every chance in the world to go and snap off an international, which he probably won't be able to do. Mosconi Cup, which he was probably a top 3 favorite to go and make it on the team, and more than likely his inability to go and play pool and these sanctions by the IOC effectively end his chances of being able to make a Mosconi Cup team. It's very unfortunate. It was like what Mike said. It was intense hearing Wiktor's response to having to go and play Sergey and how that affected him emotionally, and he's got every right to feel that way. Just like Sergey and Federer and Christina got every right to feel, that it's unfair that they're not able to go and play because of everything going on. There's a lot of when it comes to sports, because I just want to keep it like about sports, but when it comes to sports, like there's a lot of unfortunate things that are going on, and it's going to have massive effects for who knows when, because we don't know when these are going to go and end. The kid won't be able to play in the World Games. It's crazy. It's mind blowing that it can just go and happen that fast, and all the ripple down effects that it's going to go and cause. Because now essentially we don't know if Russia's even going to be. Well, they won't be in the World Cup of pool either. So there'll be another team, on there. A spot's essentially going to be opened up for the Mosconi Cup, and because Federer won't be able to be on there. Not saying that he was a lock, but I would have put my money that he would have been on there this year. As tough it is to go and make it.
Doesn't necessarily. I think we can all agree that we hope that this ends as soon as it possibly can. Nobody's trying to see this go on for years and years and years. The Mosconi Cup is still 6-7 months away before they really start getting down to where they're picking their last player. Has Fedor shown enough right now to get potentially a 5th wild card, if possibly?
But if he's not playing for 10 months against world-class competition, can you go and say that?
And that's the thing that's hard, is that humans, our life expectancy may be 70, 80 years, but when it gets down to a pool career, a peak pool career, for these guys. It may start when they're 20, and it's hard to know. It's not. Of course, they can play competitively into their 30s and 40s, but the question is, in terms of their peak performance, where they have the right level of energy, desire, their all this stuff. Some players have 15, 20 years. Other players have 5, 10, and so to see people that are just hitting their stride get disrupted. It would surprise me if none of them recaptured their momentum, but it would surprise me if some of them didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I just we're all hoping that this ends as soon as it possibly can. I mean, ideally right now. I don't think that we can just definitively rule out Fedor from the Mosconi Cup. Is he going to be in Vegas in 2 weeks? I don't see that. There's no way. I mean, he's going to be playing in the Predator Tour or the World 10 Ball. I think he misses out on both of those, and I think that's pretty obvious. He obviously misses out on the European Championship. The World Cup of Pool, I mean, it seems unlikely that that's going to be an option either, but maybe May, who knows? I mean, I know
that's the thing, nobody knows.
How does our European friend feel about all this?
Well, I just want to a couple of things, just going back on what was said there. First of all, James Aranis and Okolo. Yeah, okay, it's sad that we don't get to see them in the States.
Yeah,
because that's their fault. Yeah. They made the mistake. It was all on them or their advisors. There's entry requirements, there's visa requirements, there's long stay, there's short stay, there's whether you're there for work, whether you're not. And you're only allowed to spend a certain amount of time in the USA. Whether or not they knew that or not, or they did know it and they made a mistake, or they also knew it and they made a mistake and got caught, we don't know. But at the end of the day, it was their responsibility. In this situation, Fedor, Kristina, Tkach, it's even in Belarus. Belarus have been included in this as well for the World Games. So that's Margaret Fefilova also. They've done nothing. They've done nothing wrong, but they're suffering for this. Whether you think it's right or whether you think it's wrong, they're suffering for this, and the pool world is suffering for it. To make one thing clear, it's not the pool world that are deciding this. This is basically the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, are making a recommendation to all sports that are under the Olympic flag that Russian athletes should be banned from their events.
Which pool isn't? Pool is not.
No, pool is under the IOC.
Absolutely.
But pool's not an Olympic sport, though, is it?
Wait a minute.
They're a member of the IOC.
If your sport is being played in the Olympics, then the Olympic Committee can say you're not getting in. If your sport is under the Olympic flag and you're playing it out with of the Olympics, I mean, pool was on the short list of 5 to get selected for the next Olympics. Breakdancing got chosen. Let's not go into that. But pool was on the list. Basically, if pool ever wants to get considered as an Olympic sport, they're going to have to fall in line. They're going to have to fall in line and follow whatever recommendations the IOC make. The recommendation from the IOC is Russian athletes should not be allowed to compete. So the Eurotour, so APBF actually, so that includes the Eurotour and the European Championships, have gone and followed the recommendation, as they kind of have to. The Russian players were already in the Eurotour when this announcement was made, so they were allowed to finish the Eurotour and then told afterwards that they couldn't take part in the European Championships. Kristina Tkach was already on her way over there for the Eurotour and has been told on her way over there she can't play. The World Games have followed as well. And it's been included as Belarus are not allowed to take part due to whatever support Belarus may or may not have had on the Russian side of the conflict, which means Margaret Fefilova is also now not able to do it in WPA events or any events from the WPA. So it's not, I see stuff on Facebook, people saying, oh, Matchroom should ban them as well. Matchroom will have to because it's WPA. So these players will not be able to play in Matchroom events. They're not able to play in the WPA events. This thing doesn't finish in a couple of weeks. Even when the conflict finishes, there's still the political side of it, which happens behind desks and in courts. And these things last for ages and ages and ages. So to suggest that in 2 months or 3 months' time that the Russian players are going to be allowed to play in events again, I think is stretching it to being very improbable, I think, is is the lightest you could call it, because this is not going to happen. This thing is going to continue. Especially since within the Olympic Committee, the Russians are already on a very thin line when it comes to the doping. Athletes were allowed to perform for the Russian Olympic Committee if they separated themselves from the Russian Federation, basically, and said they were individual competitors. So they've already got a big black mark with the IOC, Russia. And now this is not going to be on a sporting front sorted out within the next couple of months. So I think, unfortunately, for the likes of Feder, that they can forget about Mosconi Cup for this year, regardless of whether or not all of a sudden there's a wild card that could be thrown that way. I don't see it being resolved in that short period of time, which is unfortunate.
Couple of things that I would say, Jim, regarding some things you were talking about as far as clarification, at least from my knowledge. And I've written to Ian Anderson at the WPA. I'm waiting for a response from him. I think WPA is supposed to come out with a response. And you're right. The WCBS is a member of the IOC. So you kind of have to fall in step. But it's not mandatory. Would it screw up Pool's chances in the future? I don't know. But it's obviously not mandatory, because the International Swimming Federation, FINA, is allowing Russian athletes to participate in the international swimming events under a neutral flag and under the
as they have been for the last 8 years.
So it's not a gun to your head. So WPA could make a decision if it wanted to allow athletes to play as neutral athletes. That's their decision. As far as I know, and as far as how long this is going to last, I was trying to think back to years where countries boycotted the Olympics because of conflicts like this. In 1980 is the thing that we all remember in the U.S. because it was in L.A. and the one in Moscow. The one in Moscow that everybody boycotted because of Moscow's invasion of Afghanistan. Well, that conflict went on for like 9 years, but athletes weren't prevented from participating for 9 years. So, you kind of hope that at some point there's a window there where they say athletes should be allowed to compete again. I mean, I think some of the reasons that they came out with this recommendation are safety reasons. It's not just a political statement. It's like, okay, if you have a Russian athlete who's going to come to the U.S. and play in a tournament in the U.S., is that Russian athlete, are they going to get in trouble? Are they going to get beat up, or whatever the case is? So there are safety concerns that get involved in all these decisions too. So it's just something that we're just going to have to kind of follow and keep our finger on the pulse of, to kind of feel, what's going to happen in the future. But I think you're right. I think that, for the short to medium term, which is the next 6 months for sure, you would think that you don't know if or how the IOC relaxes its recommendation to its members to keep those athletes from playing. And you don't know what kind of, opportunity those players would have to go where they want to go anyways.
I'd be curious, Mike, like if let's say they were able to go and play under a neutral, right, like disassociate themselves from the Russian Federation or whatever process that is, right? Would that mean like down the road, whatever support they may have gotten at one point from their federation is just going to be taken off the table? I
couldn't even hazard a guess on that. Something we'd have to dig into and find out a little bit more from European Federation, from Asian Federation, from whatever, and see what kind of repercussions there are. But there's a lot of moving parts to this that are a lot more complicated than I think a lot of people who just follow the pool world, think.
Yeah, I think you brought up a really, really interesting point there, where part of the players getting banned for sometimes their own safety, that kind of showed up when we were talking to Wiktor, didn't it? I mean, when he was talking about potentially having to play a Russian player and how he would feel very, very awkward and weird doing that. Now, pool is a very relaxed, kind of, it's certainly, it's not a confrontational sport, right? But if you talk about a different type of sport, there's let's just bring up boxing or something. You know, Ukraine and Russia are very big into boxing. You know, there's if you're allowing like a Russian boxer or something to come into something, they absolutely could end up having fights outside of it just because the sport itself is very similar to that. Now, you know, I get the idea that it kind of makes sense that you're almost trying to protect the Russian athletes almost as much as you're trying to protect the rest of the world and punish them. Russia,
Well,
that is, not the athletes.
Like I said before, I was really taken back by the emotion in Victor's voice when he talked about playing Sergey Lusker. I mean, that really kind of was like, whoa! I didn't think, you know.
I didn't even think about that, Mike, until like
really
I don't think I don't think it was so much playing Sergey as Sergey the person. What he said was it would be very difficult for him to stand there and listen to the Russian national anthem get
of course.
At the end of an event.
Of
so
course.
he wants to be the one to make sure that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
And he said how difficult it would be for him to lose, a match like that. And so, you know, it's you know, stuff like that you know, resonated with me that I was kind of surprised by, because, you know, you think you're thinking of all these very pragmatic, you know, things that go on in an instance like this, but you know, it's all about emotion and heart and you know, the family and things like that. So it's a shitty situation. Let's face it. I feel bad for all the players. I feel bad for European and American players who are friends with the Russian players, but who, you know, you've got Eastern European players like the Polish players. You know, it hits a little bit closer to home for them. So it's a really tough situation, really shitty. I feel bad for everybody involved. And again, we just, you know, I'm sure we all just hope that this finds a way to clean itself up as quickly as possible so that we can all get back to playing our friends on the pool table.
Only time will tell. This is a big change, but I wanted to ask Nate. And so if anybody else wants to say anything more about that, feel free. But I wanted to ask Nate, I wanted to congratulate you with Onboard Sportswear, and I wanted you to talk a little bit about can we talk about that or no?
Sure.
Yeah. So congrats. So, why don't you tell, I don't know that everyone knows, so why don't you share
Yeah. So, I at the Moscone Cup, when I was in London, I met the Onboard Sports guys, and we had a little bit of a drunken chat, and it was fun. And we exchanged some information, kind of just under the assumption that I was not happy with the jersey supplier that I had, and I wanted to have one. I think the jerseys look amazing, and they're kind of a cool thing to have, and I think it's great marketing. So, you know, I stopped and chatted with them, and I'm like, you know, this is what I have. This is what I'm not happy about. What can we do? Is there something we can do? And they were very friendly. They gave me their card. He said, yeah, don't worry about it. So when you're back, you're settled in, reach out to us, and we'll get talking on what we can do. And I got back, got settled in, got COVID afterwards, so it took a little bit longer. But I jingled them up, and we chatted. And turns out that they were looking to expand into the U.S. and they wanted to ask my advice on a couple of things because they knew I was pretty plugged into the industry over here. And just kind of some consulting with me kind of turned into them saying, "Well, it kind of sounds like you're doing a lot of these things. Would you be interested in potentially, you know, helping us get it started? And then, you know, once we find somebody to get in place, we'll get it all set up, blah, blah, blah. And then we'll kick you to the curb at that point in time." Because at the time, I mean, I wasn't necessarily interested in taking on this project. And, you know, we got deeper and deeper into it, and we started actually building a market in the US, and they are working on their websites right now. So they're actually planning a 100% full launch. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say as to when, so I probably should shut my mouth on that, at least until I discuss with them. But they are doing a full USA launch, and I am going to be running that. So I'm going to be running the entire US market for Onboard Sportswear.
Wow.
So it is a UK company, of course. They're centered out of a little north of London, I believe. But they do all of Matchroom stuff. So they have a 3-year deal with Matchroom. So they're doing all of their Matchroom, or the Moscone Cup stuff, the World Cup of Pool, the jerseys they had for the Premier League pool. Those are on board. And basically they're just trying to expand and put out some great products. So that's what I'm going to be heading up, and that's what I'm going to be helping them hopefully try to do in the U.S.
Can't wait
Can
to
I
see
get a shirt? Can I get a shirt? That's what I'm saying.
I went to see a website where it says U.S. headquarters, Madison, Wisconsin.
So, but you're doing business.
Stop sending us stuff to make our balls smell nice and send us some clothing.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't
For
need
once,
lip.
I agree with Jim. That's how bad this is.
I don't want the lip stuff.
Jim, you realize the only reason we have the Manscaped sponsors because your wife reached out to him saying that we needed it.
So I need it.
Ouch.
So the business development. So Nate, what are you going to be doing for them more specifically? And is this going to be like a full-time thing? Are you still going to be able to keep doing what you're doing with the podcast? I mean, everyone's on pins and needles, man. Are we losing you? What's going on?
No, this is going to be the last month that we do the podcast. After this, I will be starting a full-time position, and the podcast will go away. So
yeah, funny.
Cool.
Is it April Fool's?
It was a good run.
Sorry, we're a month away. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm a month early.
I'd miss Jimmy too much, and
No,
all of his amazing guesses.
We can do a new show, the Jim and Mike show.
Here your bets.
Let me tell you. Look, let me tell you. I was the one who picked Wiktor coming out of that top side of that bracket, Jimmy. I told you this the other day. You know, so yeah, there's the 40. There's the 40. That guy went on tilt afterwards. Believe me, he messaged me. Oh, Jimmy thinks he's so funny talking about me after they blocked me. Yeah, so good job, boys. Good job.
He's been sending crap up to me as well. Yeah.
No,
he's a
but
genius. Yeah.
It's kind of a weird week, man. Like a weird week of pool, and I don't nothing to do with your on board stuff, Nate, because that's awesome and massive congratulations.
Yeah,
I just mean cool. I just mean like in general, like all this stuff that's happening, and we see things like outside of pool, and you know we're all very aware, and our eyes are always open, but then to go and have it like hit home in the game, it's a different time, man. You know, we got to be careful on things we ask and things we say, and it's the world's different.
Pool's always been its own little like subculture shelf, all off on our own type of thing. We don't like it when the real world comes in and messes with us.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an escape. Yeah.
And so this is a little bit.
And
weird.
if they were going to ban anyone, why not ban Telfer? That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
You know?
that would send the wrong message. That would
No
send the wrong
citizenships.
Yeah, I mean, see if we can negotiate with them. See if we can trade. See if we can trade. You know,
It'd be like a prisoner exchange.
You think?
Yeah. We'll trade.
On your pillow or something.
Listen, we will throw some offers out to them. See if we can swap them out.
Telfer and 4 Manscaped 4.0s for Feder.
Hey, there you go. Right, we got to start negotiating somewhere. You know?
Is this a bad time to ask if I should even answer your question, Demetrius?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to come back from that, but please do.
Yeah, well, I'll just shut down that silliness and I'll actually answer your question. I guess they're trying. So the question was, in case anybody forgot, what is actually going to be my role? What am I doing? I am going to be, I guess, in charge of growing the U.S. market. So if anybody out there has a pool room, they have a pool team, they have a club or anything like that, or do you have a brand? You know, I know I already reached out to Panozzo to see if he wants to do something with Billiard Digest. If you have a brand that you want to promote and you want to get some sweet jerseys for it.
Ironically, I'm getting ready to send you the rate card to advertise Billiard Digest.
Perfect, right? But I'm gonna be working on trying to build the U.S. market. So anybody out there that wants to get some jerseys.
One follow-up to that. Now, does it have to be pool related? Like, suppose somebody's got a construction company and they want jerseys made up, or they want some kind of shirts or something. Like, it could be anybody. So anybody that wants to support pool and support you, the podcast, support on board sportswear, they do any kind of jersey custom. Like if somebody wanted to, if they were coaching like little leagues or something like that, they could do it, right? I mean,
yeah. Absolutely.
You could get one made with Molina Mike owes me $40 on the front.
I was gonna say I need a picture of Telfer, right? And then on the back it's gonna say Nostradamus on there, 00. That's gonna go and have all.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I think
Cool stuff.
I think you're going to do great, Nate. I'm really excited for you, and I hope that everybody, like I know a lot of pool players that a lot of pool players don't fit real well with corporate America. I know it was always painful for me, but anyway, so a lot of people own their own businesses, they have their own stuff, or they have like they're coaching junior pool leagues, and they have their own pool leagues. They need jerseys for their pool leagues. All those people, when it's time to get jerseys, reach out to Nate.
Yep.
Yeah, and not only the jerseys. I mean, they have some. I mean, their stuff is just it's sick. I mean, for example, I mean this is just a generic option that they have it, but you can see on there they have text on the back and your logo up front, text in the front. You can promote anything you want for some pretty sweet looking stuff. So, yeah,
I'm going to get in touch with them to get my 2022 shirts and stuff made for my events. I think I like the look of their stuff. It looks very nice.
Can you go through Nate? Get some permission.
No, actually, I'm going to send Jim as far away from it as I can get.
Yeah,
I'm getting some of the
You
cute
already
art
look
ones.
real fashion forward there,
Cute
Jimmy.
art ones. You should see the cute art ones. They look really good. Nate, pull up the cute art ones that you've got.
All right, I'll have to pull them up. Give me a second.
For my normal like tournaments and for my podcast.
See if we can get Jimmy hired on as a consultant. I mean, look at his three colored sweater.
I think since we're all going to Moscone Cup, we need queued up jerseys for Moscone Cup.
Well, here they are.
With our names on it.
Pull it up.
At a minimum.
That would be
these are actually pretty good, considering some of the garbage that Nate's come out with in the past. Look at these.
Look at this. Yeah, I would wear that. I would wear that.
Look
for
official.
Sure. So I'm going to get one of the shirts for playing tournaments locally, and I'm having the jacket for the podcast, and then I'm going to get in touch with them for getting my own stuff done. Yeah.
Nate, seriously,
$00.
I think jackets for Moscone Cup or Queue It Up podcast group would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd buy one.
I'd take one for free.
I'd take one for free. I'd take one for free, Mike. Hold on. Wait a minute. Mike is not allowed to go and speak for the group, Nate. Mike is not allowed to go and speak on behalf of the group, okay?
Save your money for the cocktail bar.
Yeah, as the official representative of Group Queue It Up, we are going to need some jackets.
We need the free stuff
for the Moscone Cup. Yeah. Make it happen.
We need a clean one every day.
Jim, you haven't changed your clothes
I like
in
Jim.
months.
I like Jim's style now. Yeah, now I like Jimmy. I like Jimmy a lot more now.
I'll put you two next to each other since you're in love with each other again. Here, we'll give you two. We'll give you two your own row down here. We'll just let you.
Attaboy. No doubt.
Maybe if you guys look at each other, maybe you can get a little kiss in.
Freaking Brady bunch.
Probably top shelf though, Jimmy. Right? We need to go up some.
All right, this is just silly. I mean, are people still watching this? Have we said anything worth talking about for like the last 20 minutes?
No, negative.
Get on the onboard site and have a look at your shots.
On board.
Get on board with onboard.
Yeah.
Get on board with onboard.
That's catchy.
Hey.
We'll throw it out there in the chat.
Don't call me Mike for nothing.
That's clean.
All right. I think we've wrapped this up. I think we're good to go. I don't think we've said anything even audible for like the last 20 minutes. And
I've been abused enough by you Neanderthals.
True
All
story.
right, kids.
We'll see y'all next week.
Good to see all you guys.
All right. Cheers. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.